The fate of Tennessee's gay marriage ban now rests with the 9 justices of the U.S. Supreme Court. Today, supporters and opponents of same-sex marriage gathered inside and outside the Supreme Court building in Washington to hear lawyers lay out their case. News Channel 5's Todd Walker spoke with a Vanderbilt law professor who, Todd, was actually in the courtroom today. What were his impressions?
Well, Rory, arguments went on for 2.5 hours today, which is much longer than usual for the Supreme Court. Experts that we spoke to say that's because the court recognizes how important this case is. The law professor we spoke to says he believes in the end same-sex marriage supporters will prevail.
For as much as it looked like a festival or protest outside the Supreme Court building today, inside, for the most part, was quiet and calm. Arguments from the plaintiffs and the states for and against gay marriage went on longer than most Supreme Court cases normally do, but they were also fairly predictable. A Vanderbilt law professor who was inside the courtroom said the only surprise came when an anti-gay protester started shouting and had to be removed.
We could hear him continuing to scream down the hallway for about another 60 seconds. And so that was really the excitement for the day, because I have to tell you honestly, the arguments were a little bit anticlimactic.
Brian Fitzpatrick says the more liberal judges, like the attorneys for couples suing for the right to marry or have their marriages recognized, argued for the children of gay couples.
You were denying those protections and that security that would come from having married parents.
Fitzpatrick says the conservative judges didn't question much at all.
The conservatives were pretty muted today. They really didn't put up the fiery defense that I thought they would. Justice Scalia was almost silent the entire time.
This was one of his few statements.
The issue, of course, is not whether there should be same-sex marriage, but who should decide the point.
If he had to guess, Fitzpatrick says the vote will likely come down like the previous on gay rights, 5-4 in favor, with Justice Kennedy being the split.
I think that the oral argument is not the best indicator of how Justice Kennedy will vote, but what I do think is a good indicator is the fact that he has written every major gay rights opinion the Supreme Court has issued over the last 20 years.
The president of Family Action Council of Tennessee issued this statement today saying, quote, "Since our nation's founding, states have defined marriage as a man and a woman, and if the Supreme Court is going to alter this understanding of our states' rights, then they owe it to the millions of Americans who have voted to define marriage as one man and one woman to tell us what the new definition of marriage is." Fitzpatrick says he expects the opinion on this case to be released in late June. It likely could be the last one that the court issues during this session.